Hello and welcome back to day 3 of Red Bull Romaniacs. In studio with me again today is Roof of Africa champion Daryl Curtis. Mr. Daryl Curtis, what can you tell us what's happened today so far?
Well, first of all, we got Billy Bolt. He's going to be our field reporter today. You know, he had some recent wrist surgery, so it's really good to see him out here. This morning kicked off with some really fast sections. They played into nicely for Michael Volkner and Mario Roman. They won the first 3 stages. But, you know, it's early days. It's going to get into a lot more difficult stuff this afternoon.
You definitely want to stay tuned because we've had a lot of drama out there. A lot of things have changed. So let's go across and have a look at some of the morning impressions of what's happened so far.
Now we are at off-road start 3 and it's looking so awesome. So it's like every year at Red Bull Romaniacs they do some good job, and I really enjoy the riding here. When you look at the start, it's quite so cool, and yeah, I really like it. I don't know. Yeah, it's a little bit fresh, a little bit cold this morning, but hopefully my body will ease up a bit. Aching this morning, long day yesterday. I'm hurting.
Yeah, I think day 3 is very important in Romania, so I will try to do my best, try to recover some minutes if it's possible, and if not, try to don't lose time and get ready for the last day of Red Bull Romania.
Alfredo, you feel bad?
Feel better.
Yeah.
Couldn't eat a little rice this morning and that's it. But let's see.
Strategy?
If I feel good, I go. If not, I stop.
Hello guys, welcome here to the finish line in the Old Valley at the Robesh village. I'm Billy Bolt. There's no racing for me this year, sadly. I decided to get surgery on a wrist injury that's been bugging me all season long. So unfortunately you've got me on your screen instead. Hopefully I do a good job. Go easy on me, it's my first time doing this kind of thing, but we'll give it our best shot. So we've got a gold section, which is just a couple hundred meters on this hillside behind me, which is going to be the live Maniacs section for this year. It's called Brokeback Mountain. We're expecting the guys to get here anytime, well, in the near future. So without further ado, let's go and check out the track walk preview from earlier in the week.
Hello and welcome back to Red Bull Romaniacs, live Maniacs. We are on day 3 of the race, so we're at the halfway point. Behind me here is Brokeback Mountain. This is towards the end of the day 3 for the gold competitors. they'll need to complete this lap 3 times. So let's go check out some action. This climb Brokeback Mountain starting out a lot easier than the others. Nice and pretty smooth. Get the guys to get their rhythm going. And once again, you can see how important it is to master the skill of the pivot turns. Because the steeper the hills get, the more you need to pivot turns, change your direction, look for a easier line. But this is pretty good going. Nice and easy for Stefan. The gradient's going to really start getting a bit steeper now as they get higher up in the mountain. A bit steeper, pivot turn again, and you can just see the skyline at the top. So some riders might think that this is just a short, sharp climb, but once we're up on the ridge, we're going to go even higher up. Fire it up. That's it. The conditions are pretty dry and loose at the moment, so just looking for traction wherever you can. And on these longer, straighter sections, you can fire it up, get good drive out, and ride out the top. Now then, the higher we go and the steeper it gets, the hillside becomes a lot more exposed. So some riders might choose to go a little bit off the main line and ride above these stones and these roots here, because if you hit the front wheel on the stone at the wrong angle, it could spit you down on the hillside, way down back where you started again. So some might try to get right higher and above those lines and shoot up just like that, get a good line, turn the bike again and ride out the other side. Now it's getting really steep, so he needs to think carefully about the line he's going to take. But just see again how important it is to do those pivot turns. You can just save so much time riding it on your bike. The soil up here is really loose at the moment, so you see the back wheels sliding out a lot, as well as all the leaves from the winter time on the ground. So the first rider through is going to have to open up and make the tracks for everyone else to follow, so which could be a disadvantage. You know, if you're the first one through, opening up the tracks for everyone else. He needs to change direction now, try and pull it around, bring it back around again, and fire. We're almost at the top of the climb now, and you don't want to risk sliding back down, wasting more energy. And up and out. So that's almost it for Brokeback Mountain. From here they'll just go a little bit further up, turn to the right, go back down again for their next laps. But it's all, like I said, right near the end of the day, so they have some decisions to make here about how much effort and energy to put in. Those that have some energy spare in the tank will certainly push hard here to get some time on the others and get ahead and out of sight. So it'll make it pretty interesting.
So we're going to bring you that live Maniacs section a little bit later. The riders are still making their way across to that live Maniacs sections that they're going to need to do 3 times again before getting down to the finish with Billy. And there's definitely going to be a lot of action there. Daryl, what's happened so far up to now?
Well, this morning, as I said, it started out very fast, and then there was, like Graham, he was battling a little bit with all of the choppy stuff. He wasn't too comfortable. was a little bit too fast for him. And Michael Wagner and Mario Roman seemed to like it, as did Matthias Wagner on the rally bike.
Yep.
Somehow he got out of the bronze route in the mix with the guys, and he put the hammer down. It was quite good to watch him along there. And then when the guys got into the service, just before the service point, there was a difficult climb. And Graham Jarvis pulled about 4 minutes on the guys, on Letty and on Theodore. And they were like very stressed in the service points. And when they left there, I think it was like everybody just put the hammer down. And the second half of the race is going to be where it all counts. And Live Maniacs, day 1 and day 2, we brought it to you in the beginning of the morning when everybody was fresh. And today it's going to be right at the end of the race, just before we go back to Billy Bolt, who's going to be waiting at the finish. But there's the layout there, Craig. Will you take us through day 3? How difficult is the day today?
So from the start, they had it pretty easy because they went right across the top of the mountain there, and we just saw those beautiful images that were brought to us by our track reporters. They started at 2,400 meters. It was super high, and what a better way than to start your day. Then the gold guys went into Mofo for the first time, and this is where Graham put 4 minutes on everyone. We had our jaws on the floor from those footages that you can see on our website from the live news. After service, the gold will have 6 sections, 6 different very hard climbs before they even arrive at Live Maniacs. So their day really only begins after the service point. And from what the images that we've seen at the service point, Graham was looking really fresh. You know, he struggled a bit in the faster sections, but you know, yesterday, I don't know about you, but to me, he looked really a bit tired and worn out. But at the service, he looked really strong again.
Yeah, he did. Alfredo Gomez as well took a lot of strain yesterday. He was fatigued. Graham in 2018, he DNF'd because of fatigue. But I must say now, he's looking stronger than ever today.
No, he's looking strong. And Mario too. Mario was in good spirits. So head across to some of that live news that you can catch on our website, and you can see what the guys had to say about the sections that they had to deal with now. And the other classes too. I think everybody had a tough day yesterday. It was a long racetrack, about 140 kilometers that they had to get right up onto those mountains at the altitude that we have. And we had a lot of expressions, but then the camaraderie once again, you know, the guys joining together, making sure that they don't leave anybody behind, everybody get to the finish line. And that's what the spirit of hard enduro is all about.
But if you go back to those impressions that we saw this morning, I mean, what really stands out for me, you're on top of those mountains, basically above the clouds. If you look at that scenery, there was a bit of rain that fell last night, so there wasn't too much dust this morning. But I mean, we saw Matthias Wagner there, and that's proof that you can do Romaniacs on a rally bike. Incredible, you know, like bronze class, Matthias finished 3rd yesterday. Today he's dropped a little bit, he's 5th on the road. But to do that on a rally bike is quite something. And we've also got Chris Birch running in the silver class. He was leading overnight. And I haven't looked to see how he's getting on today, but those are some interesting things to look out for.
And there's a real tight battle going on in the silver class, so keep your eye on those results. But I actually think it was really great that we had some overnight rain yesterday. The first day was really dusty, and now that there's a bit of rain in the forest, I mean, it certainly suits some, may not suit others, but for general, it's just so good to have some rain on the ground, get the guys get more traction, but then it does make those logs and those routes just like us, you know. And the bronze guys were from the start, we were going to head into quite a tight woody section, so they're going to have a big workout right at the start of the day.
There wasn't enough rain to change the race,
no.
But I think temperatures are slightly down and possibly a little bit less dust early in the morning. But by now, you know, the sun comes up. We're still in the middle of summer here. And I think it's going to start getting a little bit dusty later on in the day. The Live Maniac section this afternoon, a little bit easier than day 1 and day 2 sections, Craig?
Yeah, I would agree with you there. So the Live Maniacs is not always the most difficult sections of the track, but just something that we can have to bring you some footage and some action. They've been through some really tough sections, but I think, in my opinion, Live Maniacs tomorrow will probably be the hardest one of the day. So don't forget to miss that. Tune in at 12 o'clock noon tomorrow, Eastern European summertime. Check your timetables and when that'll be in the country that you are. But don't miss that, because there's going to be heavy action there, and it's going to be close to the finish again.
Well, there's lots to look out for. And of course, day 4, our finish in Gustarita with a spectacular hill climb. So that's what we've got in store for you tomorrow. And there's also some really hectic gold sections I went and had a look at one yesterday, and I just couldn't believe that they were going to send them up there. It's like absolutely ridiculous.
I can't wait to see Matthias fire that Dakar bike up the hill climb. We saw some images of him coming down there. Honestly,
Literally wheeling down.
I was gobsmacked. I could not believe my eyes what I saw. But even the footage we saw this morning from the start line, because the bronze guys started together with the gold, and Matthias set off together with Graham. And Graham was just taking it easy, just easy through the throttle, whereas Matthias was just full gas right off the start line.
Well, he's a two-time world motocross champion, and he's won the Dakar before. So any chance he gets to open up that 450 rally bike there, he's going to take advantage of it.
And he's definitely going to want to come away with the win again and take this one. You know, he's a really accomplished rider. And, you know, he's super chilled out. You know, these guys, they're so approachable. That's what's been so nice about the sport.
But
too.
while talking about the rally bike now, what does the rest of the day look for him on the bronze route?
So the bronze also, and all the other classes, for me, this was one of the most beautiful days, because you start up at 2,400 meters, super high up. You got beautiful views and scenery. And then from service point, it's going to get really tough for most of the classes, but also such nice riding, the open forest. You know, really trails that don't get used much at all, and it's just all fresh and new stuff that most guys would not have seen before.
I'm quite excited to see who gets to the Live Maniacs section first, because I've had a look at the tracking, and now after the service point, it looks like Manny Lettenbeckler has actually managed to get past Graham Jarvis. So how much time is he going to be able to make up? You know, he has got that big penalty, and it's going to be interesting to see how the day plays out.
Well, he's got to keep the overall for the championship in his mind. So he's just going full throttle to try and claw back as much time and as many positions as possible, so that he doesn't lose too many points in the championship, because, you know, that's the end game. We are at a very, very high level now at the championship. So he did manage to get past Graham, but we have a lot of sections coming up, and when Manny came into service, he wasn't too happy. He was a bit unhappy about something. Maybe he's got a bit rattled with Graham pulling that 4 minutes on everybody in that last gold section. So it'll be interesting to see now, with 6 heavy sections to go, plus our Live Maniacs, what's going to happen. But Manny absolutely flew through Live Maniacs yesterday.
So just going back to that point scenario. So in the Hard Enduro World Championship, obviously Billy is in the lead. He's not here. So that leaves Manny with 60 points. So if Graham wins, and even if Manny DNFs, then they'll be both tied on 60 points.
Wow.
If Theodore wins, he'll have 55 points. If Manny doesn't finish, he still leads. But the interesting one for me is Mario Roman. So if Mario wins, he'll have 78 points, and he'll take the overall lead. Manny is only likely, I think, to claw back to around 5th place. You know, he was 10th place overall after yesterday, and that'll give him 11 points. Or if he finishes 6th, 10 points. So if Manny finishes 6th, it'll give him 70 points, and Mario would need a 4th, which will give him 13 points, and they'll be tied. So Manny would need a 5th, and Mario a 4th to tie on 71 points. So they're the two danger men for the overall lead in the Hard Enduro World Championship after this round.
But it's interesting, because the thing that will be your biggest, going to help you most in these events is consistency, isn't it? Because, you know, you can be on the top of the pile, leading the points, but, you know, just one DNF can change the game. So you look at a guy like Matthew Green, youngster coming up. I mean, he's leading the Junior World Championship. He's had such consistent results this year, and all the races to come. And this year, day by day, he's been stepping it up. He started out 9th overall. He's up into 8th now. If he keeps that trajectory going, he could very well come and upset the apple cart a little bit.
But more importantly, on Saf Seller, you know, our 2nd place in the championship isn't here. So Saf is lying 3rd at the moment, and he's more than 2 hours behind Matty at the moment. So is Matty going to preserve his junior world championship lead, or is he going to try and get the best results he can in Romaniacs?
I think that when that helmet goes on, also you just want the best result, and the footage that we've had from our field reporters coming in, Matthew's definitely on a charge today. He's been riding clean. He was really, really tired yesterday. He was pretty exhausted, but he got a good night's sleep. He's recovered, and he's riding really super well today.
Yeah, if you can't really appreciate the difficulty of the track unless you go out there. And, you know, I did quite a lot of riding yesterday.
Yep.
And to push the pace that these guys are, I mean, how long were they in their saddle for yesterday? I think it was around 6 hours. They were definitely blown by the time they reached the finish. The fittest guy, the young guys, look at Graham, he's 47 years old and he's still
at the top of the game.
Giving the young guns are hiding, like if you just look at that hill before the service point, he pulled 4 minutes on everybody.
Yeah, incredible.
So later on in the day now, how many more difficult climbs are we going to get before Live Maniacs? How hard is it really?
So we're going to get 6 climbs, but we're running a little bit behind today in terms of their riding time because of that overnight rain and yesterday's rain. So it's making things a lot more difficult, and that's also why the guys, it was a really long day for them. When the rain comes down in those mountains, it just becomes super slick, especially on the grass and over the roots. So they are running slightly behind, but just goes to show that they're still human,
And you guys are going to have to put up with us for a little bit longer then while we wait. But yeah, there's so much action out there.
But all good. And we should get Billy with some interviews with some of the other guys. We're coming in to Billy. He should have some thoughts from the bronze and others, but we'll come back to Billy right after this commercial break.
What's up, guys? We're here in the finish with silver class contender Chris Birch. We've just been having a little bit of a chat, and being a contender definitely wasn't on the agenda, but it appears it is now.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly the plan, but it's way better than going and thinking you're a contender and finding out you're not. So
definitely, there's obviously still some youthful spirit in there. I've just been checking the results, and you've been having a right old battle with. You're currently leading second place, and it's pretty tight going into the last day. I don't know if you know the results or what, but it's a good battle going on out there.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, it probably looks like more of a battle on the page, on the papers and the numbers, than it is actually on the trail. I've really enjoyed riding with Fabian. Like we're, kind of almost like working together a bit. I'm sure that's going to have to go out the window at some point. But
yeah, we're arriving to the finish line of the whole race at some point tomorrow. So at one point, I think the elbows are going to have to come out. But he's won today, so you've got the advantage going into the last day of starting behind him. So I think the ball is in your favour for tomorrow.
It sounds like you know more about it.
Okay, he hasn't seen the results yet, obviously, because he's just finished the day. But other than the results, how's your week going? I see you've gone for the big girl on the 500. It's a pretty brave decision for the silver class, but so far so good, eh?
Oh, there's no replacement for displacement, eh? No, the plan was just to come and have a good time, really. And then KTM said, "Hey, would you consider doing it the 500?" Now, honestly, I've never really ridden a 500, so the obvious answer is yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, so if we have an influx in silver entries on 500s and people needing to be rescued from the mountains next day, it's purely your fault. But I'm sure we have a rescue team out there that's good enough for the job. But no, I'm. So far so good. Hopefully you can have another good day tomorrow, and we'll see you at the finish line tomorrow in one piece and see how the battle goes on. Whether you know you're battling or not. We're all watching tightly at home, waiting for the battle to kick off. But have a good one tomorrow.
Thanks, mate. I'll continue with the plan of just having a good time.
Back to you guys.
He came, he's won Romaniacs, he came to South Africa, gave us all a riding lesson back in the day, won the Roof of Africa a couple of times, upset our South African Enduro Championship. And, he just got to the finish there in silver class. Right now, he's 21 seconds behind Fabien Perot. And, he could well win it on that 500.
He could definitely do it. So for today's stage, he was 21 seconds behind. But if you look at the overall, he's still maintaining that tiny gap. He's got a tiny lead of 36 seconds, of Fabian. So it's still in it. And that's Chris's approach, isn't it? I mean, he's just a laid-back guy. Everything is, he never seems to be in a hurry. Even when he came to the roof, he just said, no, he's just coming he's never done it. He wants to experience it. But he's just on another level, really.
Yeah, when I saw him here, he said, no, he's just coming for fun, right? So when that helmet goes on, then the brain switches off, and it's all about a result at the end. We're all way too competitive for that. I've just had a look at the tracking now, and it looks like Manny Letterbickler and Graham Jarvis are quite close to each other on the track. So Live Maniacs is going to be very exciting. If we manage to get them both there at the same time, it's going to be a real show to the finish line.
It's going to be a real titanic battle in the Brokeback Mountain, because Manny managed to pull a bit of a gap from Graham. Perhaps he was trying to just get out of sight so that Graham couldn't hunt him down. But the Silent Assassin is right on him again. They've just got one downhill, a really steep downhill to do. Then they're going to go across the valley and up onto Brokeback Mountain for Live Maniacs.
I can't wait for it. It's going to be a little bit dry, I think. Maybe a bit of dust on the section, but certainly a lot faster than the last ones that we've watched. And then it's just a short little stretch over the ridge, and we're going to catch up with Billy Bolt there.
And the gap that they've managed to pull on the other riders could well mean that they clear the section. So Manny and Graham could be in the finish before the other riders come into the section, which will be really good, because then they can just bash each other, struggle bar to bar, up motocross style, up this last section of Live Maniacs.
I've done a little bit of stats there. So Manny ended up 17th on day one, because he got a 2-hour penalty. He won day two. He pulled back 16 minutes on the guys.
16 minutes, that's huge.
Yeah, on Graham actually. Currently he's in 10th overall. That's where he started this morning, but still 2 hours behind. So, and so far he's won both Live Maniac sections collectively by 9 minutes. So he's on a charge. He wants to make up time, but it's going to be impossible to make up 2 hours. So the question is, how much time can he make back? Where is he going to finish overall?
Well, that's what it is. So he's just on a charge. Sometimes, usually at this race, the guys play a little bit of strategy, a bit of a tactical game. They don't want to always be the first one out with that 3 minutes gap, because if the guy starting in second closes up to you, closes that gap, it's already an advantage. But Manny's got no other choice than to go full gas.
And Graham this morning, he didn't feel comfortable and he didn't push, Typical Graham style. But when he got into the climbs, he preserved his energy. There was bone-shaking stuff this morning. Teddy Bluziziak pulled out. His wrist isn't ready yet. We heard him there. A big struggle. Cody Webb, they broke their wrist at the same time on that last round of that German championship. And Cody's still sitting out. And it proved now that Teddy wasn't ready yet.
Yeah, really sad and unfortunate for Teddy. And it just shows that how much experience that Graham Jarvis has. He knows that those open sections aren't his game, but he just keeps that average speed going, keeps it up, keeps it going. And now he still managed to just keep in touch and then extend.
Preserving body. And we know that Graham, he knows what's out there in these mountains. He's done it. So he's won this race 6 times. And he's just waiting for those difficult hills, because that's where he's going to charge and make up time. And we saw it before the service point. 4 minutes on one climb. He gave them a hiding.
Yeah, and tomorrow being the last day, after day 2, mentally you sort of think, I'm only halfway through. I've still got a long way to go. But once they finish today and they've got one more day left, mentally that's such a huge battle. You're just about there and you can just push everything out of your body and get to the finish line.
So the legend Graham Jarvis, I'm just going to run through a couple of stats here just to put it into perspective. Okay, so he's won Erzberg 5 times. He's won Hell's Gate 5 times. He's won Romaniacs 6 times. He's won the Sea to Ski 5 times. He's won the Roof of Africa 4 times. He's won Allestrem. He's won 5 times British Trials champion. He's the 4 times winner of the Scottish 6 days. So if you put all of that into perspective, still racing at the top of the pack at 47 years old.
So let's have a look at some of the footage that we had in 2019 when the guys had to tackle this Live Maniacs. So we saw some of that action from 2019. The guys will know what to expect and what is coming. And Graham Jarvis is just about into this section. They're about seconds away, Daryl.
We were saying who's going to be there first, Graham Jarvis or Manny Letterbichler. So it looks like Graham Jarvis is in front at this moment. And then we've got the wave coming. We've got Theodore, we've got Michael Wagner and Mario Roman coming next. And those three are riding together. So we're going to see these first two come through. There's going to be a little bit of a gap, I would say about 5 minutes. And then we're going to get the other three. So how long will it take to do a lap here?
We estimate about 3 or 4 minutes because we had about 8 minutes to begin with. But the way they've been riding so far in the race this year, they are just killing it out there. I think 3 or 4 minutes would probably be about a good estimate.
It's so unpredictable. And, the organizers have to keep on making these races harder and harder. That stage that I saw there yesterday is the cliffhanger one for tomorrow. Man, I'm so excited to see that track being ridden.
So it looks like we could be going across to some live pictures there. It sounds like we've got Letty and Jarvis in this section.
And it looks like the guys are together from what I can see. Let's go through to the pictures.
And there he is.
There's the man.
Graham Jarvis.
The GOAT. So Craig, it looks like Graham's gone into this trail first at the moment. I expect to see Manny in frame at any time. And wouldn't it be, there we go. Fantastic. What a race. Now the battle is on.
This is going to be full on. Do not go anywhere. Forget about the kettle, your coffee or your toilet break. You need to be here watching this. This is going to be intense racing.
This is motocross hard enduro. I mean, after the whole day today and they're riding like this at this pace together, it's just incredible.
And the thing is that they're pushing each other. They're pushing each other all the way to the end. They know the finish line is right in sight. They can go over the limit if they have to because they're so close to the finish and then get on and do some recovery. But it's all about taking minutes away from all the others behind them. And they'll know also that from the other live Maniacs in the previous 2 days, when the other riders start coming in and it gets a little bit congested, it's going to slow down their pace, so they're going to want to clear this before anyone else comes in.
I can tell you that the climbs these guys have done up until this point have been a lot harder than this. And you can see how dry and dusty it is. The guys struggling to get traction there, and lots of pivot turns needed. This is insanely steep. The camera doesn't do it any justice. But if you just have a look, anybody that rides an enduro bike can have a look and see how steep it is. We actually need to do a pivot turn, right?
Daryl, yesterday we saw Mario and Alfredo suffered a bit from dehydration because they didn't take on enough fluids in the day. And when Graham had cleared the live Maniacs yesterday, we saw him pouring water and filling up the bladder in his Lizard Endra hydration pack, even though it was still early on in the day. And that just goes to show how much experience he has, because he knows there's still 2 more days to come. And if you burn all your energy in the first few days, it's so difficult to recover. And that Endra hydration pack and water bladder was designed in South Africa by Lizard. It was initially developed especially for Jarvis, just for him. But now it's available to anyone who wants to look like Graham. And it's all part of his Graham Jarvis 1 range and a start of a collaboration with more to come. And there's Paul. So Paul Bolts is also on track. He's going to get some good footage there and motivate the guys to go even faster.
Yes, he's done a great job up until now, hasn't he? So just looking at this, Manny Letterbichler has won all of these live Maniac sections, and collectively by 9 minutes. So he's going to definitely want to pass Graham Jarvis. Can Graham keep him at bay until the finish line.
Keep him behind him because there's no passing opportunities here, and we know between these two, we saw Manny straight lining it yesterday, straight lining it straight up the hill where others were doing the zigzagging, and we know that he's definitely knows in his mind he's not going to be able to do that to Graham. He's not going to be able to push past him unless Graham gets held up on something. But the way he's riding, they're both just dominating here.
Isn't this great footage from our GoPro? Watching these guys in the thick of the action. And just, I just have to mention that Graham is nearly double Manny's age. Put that into
It's
perspective.
incredible. Absolutely amazing. I mean, we were racing together with Andreas, Letty's father, together. We bashed bars together, we were racing together. And Graham as well. Graham too raced with us, and now he's here racing Manny.
Well,
really
I've raced with Graham so many times, and I stopped racing 8 years ago. So I look at it, I ride out in the mountains, and I just look at it like how can he still be in the front? It's like, it's impossible.
No, he's a phenomenon, He's like Greg Minnaar of the downhill. These guys don't come around very often, and when they do, it's just amazing, and we're just so lucky to be able to see these guys in action.
Just to go through Graham's race so far. So currently he's leading. He came from 11th after the prologue. He won day 1 by just 4 minutes to Theodore. He finished second on day 2, losing 16 minutes to Manny. And again, Theodore was only 4 minutes behind Graham. So on the overall time, Theodore Kovachev is only 9 minutes behind Graham. It's just insane.
No, and Theodore did a really good race yesterday. He pushed so hard on those sections, and he took some of the best times of the day on the sections like Man Ridge, which when we first put on, we just were not sure if it was even possible. And these guys just make it look so easy and effortless.
There's a great shot of Manny. Also second on the Live Maniacs sections, it's actually been Mario Roman, and third, Graham Jarvis. So, I mean, Graham's consistently been third here. There we go. We can see Manny has in fact passed Graham Jarvis there. So the data doesn't lie. Manny's faster on the sprint.
So he's taken that gap. He's taken that opportunity on the downhill where it might be. He's prepared to take that risk, isn't he? He's prepared to take that risk on the downhill to get past Graham and try and get in front of him.
Well, there's not much place to pass there, so it would have had to have been on those downhills. Those switchbacks are almost impossible to pass. But Manny definitely wants to get to the finish line first today.
And he's got that in his mind, doesn't he? Because he's just got to put everything into it. We're halfway through the season. He just knows that if he doesn't take back as much as he can, it could count against him in the end. And now Graham's got back ahead of him. He's got back ahead of Manny. I wonder where he made that pass. Beautiful.
Every point counts right now for Manny Letzenbichler. So as you can see here, this duel, probably a small little mistake from Manny somewhere. Graham he won't ask twice. If there's a gap given, he's going to take it.
It could have been at the bottom, because at the bottom, the path goes up to the right and left, and there's some really big step rocks on the left-hand side. And I won't be surprised if Jarvis just flew and launched his bike up over the rocks onto the path just so he can get back ahead.
And Manny's not going to like that. There you can see how Graham he's still got the energy. He's saved himself. He knew that this section was going to be at the end. And it's on camera. So these guys, they don't want to disappoint the fans. They want to show these guys how it's done. I mean, this after the whole day, how many hours have they been riding? And they're still managing to ride at this pace. This is what's changed the game of hard enduro. And it's great to have it as a world championship and to be able to see these guys live on this section.
It's really a professional sport now. So, guys like Manny, who have the Red Bull Training Institute, they are so finely tuned. They have such a strict program, such a strict regime, diet, sleep, everything is so finely tuned. And this is what gives them the edge. This is what makes them and allows them to push those boundaries and push so hard, even though they've been on the road for 4 or 5 hours.
I always thought it was a professional sport, Craig. Now you say it's only now.
Oh, Manny's dropped his bike there, so that's going to give Graham an opportunity to just get a little gap, because if he gets out of sight of Manny, he can really stretch that elastic band.
Well, not much stretching to be done now between now and the finish, but there you can see like a little slip of Manny. Those seconds when you have to pick your bike up as well, that's also going to cause some extra fatigue. You don't want to be doing that. Heart rate goes up. He's stressing now. He wants to get back on the wheel with Graham. So, and this is where Graham is so good. But Graham's also having to get off once or twice, so he doesn't really gain the big advantage there.
And the thing is that when you get hung up like Manny did, your blood is just pumping. All the adrenaline is going through your body. And it's so difficult sometimes to keep that up for a long period of time because your muscles just they can't take it. And that he'll get an opportunity when they get to the top to come back down again. Maybe he won't take those risks to catch back up and just use that 20 seconds or so just to get his body, bring the heart rate down, bring it back into the zone. That's a little bit better for the muscles.
I haven't done the section yet. Are they busy on their second lap?
They're busy on their second lap now. So Graham's at the top. So Graham's up and over and he's going to start going down again. Manny not too far behind him. So it's still a tough battle. And as long as Manny can stay in sight, if he's got Graham in his sights, it'll definitely make it easier for him.
And these boys are tired. They just got to dig deep. They're digging. I mean, we saw Alfredo yesterday come to the finish line. I think Mario Roman and Alfredo Gomez both picked up a stomach bug of sorts, and they battled their way through yesterday. So Alfredo lost a lot of time yesterday, and that was due to, when you've got a stomach bug, you're just dehydrated. So he was totally exhausted at the finish. Mario got a 2 from what I hear, but it looks like Mario today is in better shape than Alfredo.
Oh, and here we got Theodore. So Theodore's just come in shot. So he's going to be up on his first section now, while Graham and Manny are on their second. So hopefully for Graham and Manny, they'll only have Theodore on track to deal with. And that's the thing with Alfredo and Mario yesterday is that hydration. And with the rain yesterday that we had, it's a little bit of a trick on your mind because when you see it's raining and that temperature drops, you sort of stop drinking because you don't feel as exerted. But that's when you need to keep it going because you've burnt all your energy in the morning already.
Okay, so Theodore Kabakchev, he's from Bulgaria. He's 7th in the Hard Enduro World Championship. He's currently 2nd overall at Romaniacs. He's 9 minutes, 11 seconds behind Graham Jarvis when they started this morning. He only lost 4 minutes, 17 seconds on day 1 and 5 minutes on day 2. And he's 5th fastest on these live Romaniacs sections so far. He finished 8th at Romaniacs in 2021.
So Graham and Manny are coming down to the bottom now. They're going to go up and do their last section. It's going to be their last section before they get to the finish.
Theodore's long legs are certainly going to help him throughout the day. I mean, he's just got the right frame. I think the Bulgarian terrain is a lot similar to what we have here in Romania. Is this the last lap for Manny?
This is the last lap for Manny, and you see there he just managed to pip in front of the group that's coming into shot now. So he'll be super stoked for that he managed to get in front of them before anyone can be blocking up the path where he might need to take another risk and try and straight line it again.
I was just about to say, where is Graham Jarvis? But he's right there.
He's right there. So both of them just got ahead of Michael Wagner there.
That youngsters, I can't believe how well Michael Wagner has ridden today. Isn't that not insane from the young Austrian rider?
It's really good. He's got such a cool head, he's got such a mature head on his shoulders, learning from the others what to do, when to push hard, when to take it easy, to make sure that he's strong all the way to the finish. So many there coming, you see them straight lining up there to the right of that tree, and they'll use the base of that tree just to prevent the back wheel from sliding down to give them good drive again to head up into the next section. Apologies for the visuals breaking up every now and again. We're relying on the internet connection for the 3G mobile, and with so many people in the service area which is so close, we have a little bit of a draw on the towers, but this is much better.
So Michael Wagner's made up some time today. So where is Mario Roman? Michael Wagner, he lost 11 minutes on the first day and 27 minutes on the second day, and currently he's 6th overall. So I mean, the finish for Michael here. Wow, there's Mario Roman just coming into the picture now.
He must have heard you, Daryl.
Yeah. I'm just not sure who came into the section first. Was it Mario or was it Michael? But I know that Michael, Mario and Theodore rode almost the whole day together.
I hope Theodore didn't go wrong there. You saw the yellow tape, and the yellow tape means that you're going the wrong way. You need to turn and look for the blue. So it looks like the marshal might have shown him to go down, but these guys, they need to just try and get as much time as possible on the other competitors.
They're changing the lead again. Manny in front of Graham Jarvis. Michael Wagner not too far behind. This is the perfect way to showcase these rider skills. When you see it like this after a full day of riding the mountains, you can really appreciate how talented these guys are.
Manny's really pushing the limit, isn't he? He's pushing the boundaries, he's pushing the limit, And Graham knows in the back of his mind, he had that 9-minute advantage over Theodore with one day to go still, and he's still in the lead today, so he knows he doesn't have to take that risk. He doesn't have to push the boundaries like Manny, whereas Manny's got to give it everything he's got.
Yeah, Graham's not worried about Manny at all. For the overall, he's just thinking about Theodore Kabakchev from Bulgaria.
So Michael just picking up there, taking the safe option to get off, turn it around before he gets going again. So these two are up and over now. Manny and Graham, they're up and over. They're going to start heading down to Billy in the finish, and we're going to get some raw emotions from them. Let's see here. Michael's also just getting off again, pull it around. I can tell you that shoot up there is so steep. It's almost vertical. I think it's around 70% inclination. Extremely steep. So you don't want to lose your bike down there. Michael taking the good option there just to secure the bike, turn it around and get going again.
And just to correct myself, Michael is actually currently 5th overall when he started this morning, and he's actually 4th fastest on these live Maniacs sections. So it makes perfect sense that he's up there with these guys.
So Theodore heading down now. Theodore heading down back to the start of his next section. He's going to go through the gates and up for the next section of the track.
And then Manny's onto the back wheel of Theodore. Is he going to pass him?
And when we saw it, when Theodore started, he had a really fair gap on Manny. So Manny's really closing down the time again. Mario onto the second lap now. Off he goes, up again.
Still motocrossing it, he looks like he's not tired at all. He looks like he's overcome his stomach bug, being so close to the leaders. I think he's been able to recover nicely.
So Theodore will have Mario in his sights as well. It's always so helpful when you have someone ahead. It helps you just push that boundary a little bit, and he's got to make up time. So he's in a position like Manny, he can't afford to stop, take a breather. Line up, he's just got to push to the end. The finish line is right there. Mario lining it up. Is he going to straight line over this? We know how good he is at hill climb. He's one of the best hill climbers, him and Manny. But he's taking that line again next to the tree to keep it. Did you see he didn't stop there? The others were stopping to secure. Mario just pushing. Maybe he knows as well. He needs to just try and bridge that gap. Definitely one of the favorites for the win this year, Mario. So. He's been riding strong all year. He's been so consistent, so strong. He's definitely one for the podium.
Well, he's got a number 3 on his bike, and he's currently in 3rd overall. He was 5th after day 1. He only lost 12 minutes to Graham. He was 4th on day 2, 22 minutes off. And like I said, 2nd fastest on these sections. There you can see why.
So we've got Billy in the finish with Manny. Let's go over to you, Billy.
So guys, we're here in the finish. Manny has just arrived. Pretty tight battle for the most part in the live Maniac section with you and Graham. How was that to end the day on?
Man, it was actually pretty cool. At the beginning I let just Graham go because he's literally fighting for a win, and I'm not really fighting for a win at the moment, so he made a really good job. But at the end I passed him at the down, and I was like, oh man, I have to get in front now because I'm a little bit better in the 6X, but it was a good ride now. Congrats to the king, he absolutely nailed it today.
He's arrived. What was going on there, Graham, can we ask? There's no TV cameras. It was on Roxy's film on my vlog if anyone wants to go and watch Graham get a little bit lost at the end. But we'll get to Graham in a minute. But back to Manny. Overall, how was the day? I seen you lost a little bit of time this morning. I'm guessing it was a pretty difficult track to lead out on, and there wasn't, navigation wasn't easy. But happy with today, or was the time left behind?
Nah, definitely happy. It was super difficult in the morning with the navigation, and I think I tried my best, and I think I did a pretty good job, but for sure lost some minutes to Graham and to the other guys. But still stoked. I think my riding was pretty good. I'm definitely tired because I was pushing too much the last 2 days now with this huge mistake, so I can feel my body quite a bit.
One more day to go. Go and get rested up and come out swinging tomorrow, and hopefully we'll see you in the finish tomorrow.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
Should we go straight to Graham, or what's the plan? We might as well go straight to Graham because I think you guys are on me. All right, Graham, how you feeling? You're looking magnificent, I must say. Oh God, look at all that sweat dripping out. Loving it as ever?
Yeah, I mean, I was tired this morning. It's when you struggle to get out of bed.
You're tired every morning, so what difference does that make?
It's not much difference to a normal day, but just couldn't get going this morning, and just long grass, I didn't like it, I got scared. And then this afternoon in the forest, the tough stuff, I did really well.
Yeah, I think overall wise and time wise it's not too bad. Been kind of in control, obviously there's been kind of in control of the overall all week. I guess how you like it. What's the plan of attack for tomorrow?
Yeah, just try and focus on the track, but you know, them guys are fast, as you know. Theo caught me up, Mario caught me up. You're under pressure, aren't you?
What do you mean? You're getting under pressure. Yeah, but you're handling it. One more day to go. Bodies, I'm sure feeling wonderful, and you've got no complaints there. We'll not give you any airtime whinging about how old you are. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you in the finish line tomorrow. We'll see how it goes.
Very good. Quite good.
You have to wait for them to come through the finish checkpoint. So nice to hear from Billy and the boys on the finish line there. And Daryl, how much respect do these guys have for each other? I mean, they're Manny acknowledging King Jarvis, you know, Billy as well. They all have so much respect for each other.
Yeah, no, isn't that just great to see? But my question is, as we're looking at Mario and Roman in the frame there, what would this race have looked like if Billy Bolt wasn't injured? You know, he's our current hard enduro world championship leader. And some of the guys that are missing here, you know, we got Cody Webb, he had a broken wrist. Wade Young's got a back injury. Johnny Walker has had knee surgery. And of course now we lost Teddy this morning. He's out. What would this race have looked like with everybody here? It would have just been insane.
You know, there's just so many guys at the top, such a high level now. It just makes it so exciting. And this is why we bring you these visuals. This is why we bring you the live Maniacs, so that you can get up and close and see what these guys have to deal with. See the struggles they have and acknowledge how much respect that we have for them and how fit and strong they are.
Yeah, well, I can tell you now, when you actually go out onto the course and you go and actually look at some of these stages where you can't walk up them, then you really, really appreciate it, you know. TV, yeah, it looks all great, but if you remember how many hours these guys have ridden for, they've ridden over for more than 5 hours today. So, sure, it's just actually unbelievable that they can ride at this pace. The stuff that we don't get to see on camera now, we're going to pick up from all of the Red Bull motorsport coverage. It's going to be popping up, but you know, I mean, it's just fantastic that they managed to get such good footage together in places that we miss.
So Mario is on a real charge, because I'm looking now at some provisional results of these different stages they're doing, and so far he's taken the fastest time on the first 2 stages. He was 43 seconds, faster than Manny, and 2 seconds faster than Graham on the second. So remember, we saw Manny get held up there on his second stage. He got his wheel slid down, he got stuck in the hole, so he lost some time there. But Mario on a real charge. And Michael Walkner, he has posted the 3rd fastest time in that second stage, so he's also doing well, but the times are so close, Daryl. 2 seconds, Graham was behind Mario. Another 2 seconds, Michael Walkner behind Graham. These guys are just so competitive.
That's in the live Maniac section. I want to see the overall times now when they go through the finish line. I want to see who's who in the zoo after this long day.
So we'll have to wait for all of them to be in the finish and scanned at the checkpoint before we can make any comments on the overall, but it's looking good for Graham at the moment, I would say. So Morris just about to clear it. He's just about on top again, and then he's going to be done. You can see the expression on his face. Look at that effort he's putting. He's so determined. He knows he wants to take this. And there's some bragging rights to this too for these live Maniacs. We got bragging rights for the fastest stage. We got bragging rights for the fastest over all 4 days of a live Maniacs. There's some at stake here, Daryl.
Yeah, and there's a good shot of Michael Wagner. Again, this youngster has really surprised me. I mean, if you just saw in Urzberg, he was fighting for the win there with Manny until he blew on Carlsden, and he just ran out of energy. But it looks like he's managed to sort out his, I don't know if he's been training or changed his diet, but I tell you what, he's on the gas. I'm looking for Tristan Hart. I expect him to come into this section next.
He's just about to come in. So he's just about to come in. Good to see Tristan, because he was riding really well this morning. Super fast on the top of the mountains. He was closed that gap. He unfortunately lost a little bit when we got into the really hard sections. But you know, he's young, he's determined. He's going to put everything into it.
Michael Wagner also, he's got long legs, quite a skinny lad, tipping over there. But he's just riding, he just keeps getting better and better.
No, he's just gaining so much experience. You know? He's also part of that group. He's part of these guys. He just feeds off them. He feeds off their experience and what they do.
Mario on that downhill, he must be almost finished with his third lap now.
So I'm looking at...
There's Tristan Hart. Tristan Hart's just come into the frame now. Currently 4th overall. He was 21 minutes off the lead after yesterday. He was 3rd on day 1. He lost 11 minutes. He was 6th yesterday, 28 minutes off Manny's time. And of course he finished 3rd here at Romaniacs last year.
Oh, it doesn't... Look at the expression in Michael's face. He's just exhausted, but he knows he's almost at the finish. He's almost there, but he's just giving it everything he's got. It looks like we may have lost Alfredo because from what I'm getting the news here is that Alfredo could be out of the race. I hope that's not the case. It might have happened. The other riders are still coming in. There's a bit of a gap between Matthew Green, David Cyprian and Sip Stella. So they're a little bit behind these guys. They'll have clear track ahead of them when they get here, but they're not quite in the mix today. Another really tough day out there. They've got about another 140 kilometers today, so it's a long stage.
Tristan, of course, our Canadian rider. He's 25 years old, Tristan Hart, and he finished. He's the off-road. He's the 2021 AMA Extreme Off-Road Champion as well. So hard enduro. That's what he's been focusing on. Yep. He's only doing 4 rounds this year. So he did Erzberg, Romaniacs, TKO, and the last one. The Canadian round. He'll be right at home there.
And Mario, I think, is in the finish with Billy, so hopefully we'll get some insights from Mario of how his day was and how it's been. He's ridden super well today. He knew he lost time yesterday. He knew he had to catch up and make it, and that's exactly what he's done.
Mario Roman has just joined us in the finish line, battling right to the finish. We've just seen him overtake Theo in the live Maniac section. Mario, difficult day for you yesterday, but you seem to have come back with a strong performance today. How was it out there?
Yeah, it was a good day for me. Warner catch me very, very soon in the morning, but then I was able to follow him. We caught Theodore as well, and then we pushed each other quite a lot until the Live Maniacs section, and then I knew I have more speed than them, so I pushed a little bit harder and I opened a couple of minutes, so pretty happy.
And one more day to go. How's the body feeling? And yeah, any aches and pains, or are you still feeling strong going into the last day?
I mean, as you know, Romania is pretty tough. Feeling a little bit of pain in every single joint, but overall I'm feeling strong and ready to fight tomorrow. Let's push.
Okay, good job coming back from yesterday. I think we'll go straight to Theo as he's just arrived now, if that's all right. Are you ready? This is the last section. You don't even have time to get your breath back. Yeah. No, we'll give you a few seconds. I've just been watching. You were the first couple of laps riding pretty aggressively in the Live Maniac section. You were pushing pretty hard. Yeah, how's the day been? Well, so far the week's gone pretty well. We've seen you've been challenging and second overall behind the old man. So I guess you're pretty happy so far.
Yeah, it's been going good until now. The boys are really pushing on the technical stuff, and I make a little bit more mistakes than them. But overall, I'm pretty happy, and for sure I will get better. And one day I will be everywhere.
Still in the fight anyway, still in the fight with one more ticket. Anyway, I think we best let Theo go and get a drink straight away, because he's feeling pretty hot right now, and he's got to try and recover and have one day tomorrow. So best of luck tomorrow. Hopefully we'll see you in the finish line there, and yeah, thank you. still a while, but...
You was in the APC in Austria, huh?
No. We're here. I'm at Michael Wagner. How was your day?
Yeah, the day started quite good, so I tried to push as hard as possible in the beginning and was riding with Mario always. He was in the front and me was in the front, so we pushed together and I think we were quite fast in the beginning, and yeah, after the service point also quite good, but just the last uphills here, the media laps were quite hard for me because it's so hot. So it was not that difficult, but the heat is the problem today.
Yeah, and I think when there's a few of you guys in the Live Maniacs section together, you're always going to ride with a little bit more intensity and push a little bit hard, and that added into being completely at the end of the day, I guess, is not the easiest way to finish the day.
Yeah, exactly, like you say. So like yesterday, when it was in the beginning, the media lap was not that hard, but if you are nearly the finish line, then you try to push as hard as possible and do everything 100%, and then you get exhausted. Yeah.
Anyway, good job today. There was some, I was watching the results earlier, some really strong checkpoint times throughout the day, so good job. Best of luck for tomorrow. Hopefully we see you in the finish line then as well.
Thank you, Billy.
So good to hear from the guys down there. So great to have Billy as our field commentator, isn't it, Daryl? Giving the guys gears. I mean, joking with Graham there and saying, come on, Graham, you tell us you're always tired. You tell us you're tired every day and you still just dominate.
Well, Graham always looks like a ghost after the race, and yet, yeah, he still
He's going to come at you for that.
Yeah, no, he still manages the next day to come back strong. So it's like, yeah, you can't really get a reading of Graham. You know, he looks like, I mean, yesterday he was so drawn. He looked so tired. And he's like, yeah, no, that was good, yeah. And then, you know, he came back hard this morning. I just, you know, it's so consistent. Graham Jarvis.
Yeah, you're right. You can never get a reading from him. You can never really tell what he's feeling, what he's doing. He just sticks to his job. He knows what he's got to do. He's so focused.
As we're looking at Tristan Hart over there, I think he must be on his third round by now. Tristan having a fantastic Romaniacs. He wants to be on the podium here. He's got a way to go, but tomorrow is going to be the decider. For me, I want to see who's going to come out on the top of this Romaniacs, because Graham Jarvis and Teodor Kubakchev are so close on the overall.
So provisionally for the day, though, we can look at that for now. Provisionally for the day, Graham Jarvis has taken the win once again, ahead of Mario Roman by 5 minutes. So Graham just extending there. Michael Walkner in third, and then Theodore, who is, I think, 5 minutes behind Graham. So that gap is just extending between Graham and Theodore.
And that's where the respect came from, many calling Graham king at the finish line, because he tried everything today.
He just put everything in, didn't he?
And Graham still managed to smash it.
So Tristan doing really well, though. He's kept up a consistent pace. He's just being conservative, keeping that pace going, because he knows he's still got one more day to go.
So I stand to be corrected now, but on the overall, Graham Jarvis has now got a 15-minute, 8-second lead over Teodor Kubakchev. Am I right there, Craig?
That looks right. And, you know, even though he's got that buffer, he knows he'll still push hard. He's going to push hard tomorrow because he wants to extend that lead and show him what he's got and show them that he is the king.
Mario Roman is in third. He's 22 minutes off on the overall after day 3. Michael Walkner, 28 minutes off. And there's a big gap. Tristan Hart. No, because Tristan hasn't reached the finish line yet.
No, Tristan hasn't reached the finish. But as soon as he's scanned in there, we'll get to see where he's lying on the overall.
So far we've got 28 minutes separating the first four. Graham Jarvis, Teodor Kubakchev, Mario Roman, and Michael Walkner.
So
the podium's open. It's anybody's podium.
It looks like Tristan Hart is the only one now that on the Live Maniacs. He's the only one in there, so he's got clear road ahead of him. He can just take his time, pick the lines he wants, and push to the finish. We have got a group though that's coming in fairly soon with Maddie Green leading the front there.
Are we going to run out of time, or are we going to be able to pick up Maddie Green?
Hopefully we can get some footage of these guys. It'll be so nice to see their struggles too. Maddie had a really big battle yesterday with David Cyprian. They were back and forth all day. One in the front, then passing each other on the rocks and the roots. It'll be so good to see them fighting it out on the Live Maniacs.
And Matty Green has also extended his lead on Safcello, third placed in the Junior World Championship. So Matty Green is going to secure his lead. But it looks like out on track, you're 100% right. Matty Green and David Cyprian seem to be riding together. Next will be Safcello and then Olzawi a little bit further back.
So Tristan coming down the hill now. He's off. He's done. He's finished his Live Maniacs. He has conquered Brokeback Mountain. He's going to be in the finish with Billy. And then we'll get a good time from the checkpoint to see where he stands overall.
The big question today.
Oh, my mistake. Sorry. He's got
one more
to go.
Sorry for you, Tristan. One more loop. But just going back to Alfredo Gomez, I think you were right there. We saw him on the road on the live tracking. So he's had a problem. It looks like he is out. We would have seen him on the route, and he's nowhere to be found.
Really unfortunate there to see Alfredo out, but he had a really, really tough day yesterday. He almost didn't make it to the finish line, and we saw that from him in the previous editions on the Killamore, just emptying the tank. And that's where the experience comes in. I mean, Alfredo's been around for a while, but that's where the experience of Graham comes in. You know, he knows how to pace himself. He knows how to get it over the line.
No, I'm going to interrupt you there because remember, Alfredo's stomach bug. I've had a stomach bug before in a race, and you can't compete with a stomach bug. It just kills you. So it automatically dehydrates you and you can't ride. So I'm not surprised that he's pulled out, and I would probably think that that's the reason.
Yeah, because all your power comes from your stomach. So you're quite right there, Joel. So that probably really affected him badly, and it's really a shame to see him out.
You know, you travel all over the world. The guys try and eat as carefully as they can. A lot of times they have, they make their own food where we can. I think in Utzberg in the apartments there, the guys just make pasta and that. And over here it's a little bit different. There's so many amazing restaurants and there's amazing food here in Sibiu. But it could be that he just managed to pick up something somewhere.
So we've got Manny's time now from the finish as well. So on the day 2 results, for the results for this day, for day 3. For day 3, we've got Graham. He was the fastest, followed by Manny. So there was 2 minutes and 55 seconds at the end between Graham and Manny. That's why they were pushing so hard, because they want to take those stage honors again.
There's just nothing in it. I mean, all of these guys coming out into the Live Maniac section within such a short time period just shows you the level.
And we've got now, so we've got Graham, Manny and Mario. Those are your top 3 for the day. We'll get a scan time from Tristan as well when he comes in to see where he'll be.
But Tristan will be 6th for the day then, from what I can see so far.
The thing is, when you're riding alone though, you just don't know if you're on the pace, is it, hey Daryl? Because when you're riding with a group or you're riding together, you're pushing each other, and sometimes it can be slower if you're overtaking each other too much. But if Tristan's riding by himself, I mean, he'll push as hard as he can, but if there's somebody in front of him dangling that carrot, he's definitely going to push harder than he would be on his own. So he could be losing a little bit of ground here.
It is difficult to judge your pace when you're riding alone, but he'll be riding his heart out. Excuse the pun, Tristan Hart, but I don't think he's holding back. I think he's giving it everything he's got. He wants to get onto the podium here.
So we should have some more results for you after these other guys have been through this Live Maniacs. And at the moment, it's still Mario Ramon. Mario absolutely dominated it. On the first stage, it was Mario, then Manny. Manny was 43 seconds behind Mario. So when Mario came in, he really gave a big push. And Theodore was third. Theodore posting the 3rd fastest time on the first stage of this Live Maniacs. On the second stage, Mario, once again, as I've said, took the fastest time, 2 seconds ahead of Graham Jarvis. And then Michael Walkner in 3rd, 2 seconds behind Graham and 4 seconds behind Mario.
So just going back to the Hard Enduro World Championship, I said earlier, if Manny finishes 6th in the Romaniacs race, then and Mario would need a 4th. Mario is currently in 3rd, which means that currently as things stand, I think Mario would be ahead in the Hard Enduro World Championship if it had to finish like this.
So this is why he's pushing, he as well. They all know they need to secure their points. They need to push as hard as they can, get that extra position and get their points.
But we still have to see the rest of the guys finish, and we'll see what Manny's position looks like once everybody's been through the final checkpoint. So still way too early to tell.
So Tristan now, he's making his way down. He's going down the hill now. He's going to get into the finish. We'll get him to post the time and see what it is, and we're good to hear from him. We've also got Martin in the finish. Martin is in the finish, our race creator. Martin Fernandez, the creator of the Red Bull Romaniacs, is with Billy Bolt at the finish line.
Hello.
What's up, guys? We're here with the creator of this complete madness that we call Romaniacs, Martin Fernandez, here in the finish of day 3. How's everything going so far? Everything, I guess, nothing is to plan, but also everything is to plan. How's things going?
No, actually everything runs quite smooth. Yeah, it is as planned. Yeah, we did make a plan. Yeah, and morning was really nice, sunny, and just hard to get up. But it worked out. Once you sit on a bike, you know things are going. And yeah, the tracks were good. I've been in the Happy Birthday, which is one of the more heavy gold sections, and the boys are riding really amazing. So it was nice to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, the pace is high at the front, that's for sure. One more day to go tomorrow. Any surprises that they should look out for, or are you being gentle to the guys tomorrow?
No, there is definitely a few new hills as well. We're using in the Sado Valley one of the new hills, the Fratzidler Hill. That's really heavy. So, no, surprises are definitely there. And then the Maniacs is up again.
Okay, so we have action-packed day tomorrow. There's no rest. The guys are going to be working hard right to the finish line.
So, Daryl, wasn't that some great action? We saw bar-to-bar motocross style between Manny and Graham.
Yes, it was exciting. It just doesn't get better than that. You know, to see them both after the long day that they had, just like motocrossing that last little section, man, that was exciting.
And we've still got one more day to go. We've still got one more day to go in this great race. Red Bull Romaniacs tomorrow is going to be action-packed. Don't forget to watch Red Bull TV and get the highlights or reel of all the other days that have passed. We've got some great footage there for you, some great stories to tell. And also on the website, we got live news from the stories of the other classes, because it's not just about the pros. We've got 4 other classes in this race there.
We've got atom, we've got iron, we've got bronze, we've got silver, and we've got gold. There's just so much to tell.
So much. And so hopefully we could get some words out of Tristan, hopefully, but we'll see how that goes. And Daryl, how's it going to look for the other guys still coming? We've got Matty Green and that battle with David Ciprian. So those guys have been fighting for almost the entire race.
Tooth and nail, yeah. They've all got into their own little group. So quite excited to see how Matty comes through. But tell me a little bit more about tomorrow. I mean, day 4. What does it look like?
Well, we'll get a good 3D image of that for you tomorrow, but the guys are in for some real fight tomorrow. Are we going to go down to Billy, who's with Tristan in the finish?
What's up, guys? We've got Tristan here in the finish. Tristan started out 6th, and I think you finished 6th. Was it as lonely as it seems out there? Have you had any company out there today?
Oh, it was so lonely. I didn't see anyone all day, so that was kind of a bummer. In the morning, I didn't ride too well either because I was trying to catch those guys and then just making some mistakes. So then just got into a rut of riding like crap. And yeah, and then this afternoon, I actually was kind of having fun and started riding a little better.
I've been there, I've had plenty of days riding around these mountains without seeing a single soul, and it does get pretty lonely out there, so I bet Tristan's pleased to be here in the finish. Overall for the week, are you happy with how things are going, or do you feel like there's room for improvement and you want to come back and try and get a little bit better?
There's definitely room for improvement. I mean, I've made probably a million mistakes these last 3 days. You know how it is. It's just there's so much going on in one day and just so much can happen. But yeah, at one point today I'm like, what am I even doing here? But then once I started feeling better, I'm like, yeah, this is not bad. But yeah, definitely room to grow, and we'll see what tomorrow brings.
One more day. How's the body feeling? Are you ready for one last attack, or we're just gonna try and survive to the finish line?
No, I think we'll go for an attack. I mean, this morning I was feeling so bad. The food here has made my stomach really upset, and yeah, so it's been pretty rough so far, but we'll give like hell tomorrow and see what happens.
Tristan's going for it tomorrow. Quite a few guys, I think, need to be very careful about what they pick from tonight's buffet, as we've had a fair few stomach bugs going around. But yeah, good luck for tomorrow, and hopefully we'll see you in the finish.
Well, it was good to hear from Tristan there as we were about to wrap the show up, and there's a bit of insight into why their stomachs are all turning at the moment, Craig.
No, it was great, Daryl, and it's so good to have this live Maniac. So join us tomorrow for the last and final day, so we can see who's going to take the crown for our live Maniacs and the overall stage. Tune into Red Bull TV to get those highlights. Watch our webpage for the live news. See you tomorrow.